Hi, thanks for joining us today on Real Estate Insiders TV. I'm Danny Poulos with the elite lending team at Fenby. Our guest today is Chuck Straub. He's with the law offices of J.M. Kuna, and he is going to focus on the topic of insurance litigation and really something that I don't think we're used to hearing. We think that insurance claim process is just a simple thing, but Chuck's going to explain to us the things that can go wrong and how you can really get what's owed you. So Chuck, take a minute, tell people what you do and how long you've been doing it, and then we'll jump right in.
I'm an attorney, and I've been helping homeowners and insureds with property damage claims since 2008.
So this is really how you spend most of your time, is working with these types of situations.
Yes.
All right, so let's start out by just defining some things. Let's talk about the different types of insurance depending on the type of property you have. Whether you live in it, whether you vacation in it, whether you rent it to somebody else. So run through that for us.
Sure. Your insurance policy has to be specific to the property and how the property is being used. So you need to let your agent know, or the insurance company know, when you're filling out the application, whether you're going to be living at the property, whether it's going to be a rental property, whether it's a commercial property, or also or a vacation property. All of those, based on whatever the scenario is, they're going to issue a different type of policy.
So, and depending, I guess, on the activities, and also if there's a business running out of there, there's going to be different insurances required, right?
Yes. Basically, insurance carrier needs to be able to evaluate whatever risk they're taking on when they write the policy. And the problem is if you don't give them the correct information, when you have a claim, it gives the insurance company the opportunity to deny your claim. So that's why it's very important that you're very specific and that you answer all the questions for the insurance company and give them all the information they need.
Is it all pretty simple, or are there things that people forget to insure depending on the type of property?
You know, there are important things. You need to know, you really need to tell your agent or the carrier what you're looking to have insured. So if you have a swimming pool, don't necessarily assume that if your swimming pool is damaged that it's going to be covered. Another thing is screen enclosures.
Right.
Oftentimes nowadays, carriers in Florida will not write policies that will cover screen enclosures. So don't think automatically that something is covered. Other thing is, if you have artwork or specific jewelry that you want to make sure that it's protected, you need to make sure that that's being insured under the policy as well.
And address that specifically, right? I think a lot of people just think, oh, I have insurance, so everything must be covered. But you really have to make sure you're giving them, the insurance agent, the right information to make sure you're getting the right coverage.
That's right. That he understands what the contents of the home are going to be and who's living there and what's going on at the property.
Right. So that's step number one. Make sure you're answering all the questions and that you're providing all the information, or you're not going to be covered for the things you may think that you're covered for. And I guess in some cases you might even be overinsured if you did it wrong, right?
That's correct. That you could be overinsured. And again, so you really need to look at what the premium is going to be versus what you're being covered for. And it's very important not to try to save on premium just to protect yourself for coverage. Because when you do have a loss, that is when it's really going to cost you money.
Right. A lot of people are looking for the biggest deductibles, and that's all great when you're writing the check every month for your insurance, and then when a claim comes, you really find yourself in a tough spot, I would think.
Exactly. There were so many retirees that I helped with insurance claims that had a wind deductible of $5,000, $10,000, trying to save on premium. The only problem is they didn't have that $5,000 to $10,000 tucked away to make the repairs necessary when they had a loss.
Okay, so now you got right to it. Let's talk about when you had a loss. Run through the procedure.
All right, so when you have a loss, you have some duties under your policy, and you need to make sure that you follow these duties so that you have coverage. The very first thing is you need to notify the insurance carrier that you've had a loss. That means picking up the phone. You go to your policy, there'll be a phone number, you pick up the phone, call the company and let them know that you have a loss and ask them to open up a claim for you.
Is there any time frame on that?
The policy says that you have a duty to notify them in a timely manner. The sooner the better is the rule of thumb. After you've done that, you also want to make sure that you photograph or document what the loss is. So take pictures. If it's a broken pipe and the plumber has to repair the pipe, make sure you keep that piece of pipe that the plumber removed and replaced. Also, you have a duty to make sure that you make repairs, or they call mitigate your damages, to prevent the damage from getting worse.
That's the responsibility of the homeowner.
That's the responsibility of the homeowner under the policy. So if you have a roof leak, make sure you get somebody up there to put a tarp over the area where you believe the water is coming in. If you've had a pipe burst and the water has filled your home, you have a duty to have someone come in there and remove the water from the property. Oftentimes the carrier will assign somebody to do that for you.
Right.
But if they don't, you need to get somebody in there to dry that place out.
So are you saying that you're really responsible, and if you didn't do that, there may be damages caused after the fact that are not covered by your insurance?
That may not be covered by the insurance because they said you didn't mitigate you didn't do what you needed to do under the policy, and so because the damages got worse, we're not responsible for that.
That's an important fact, because if you think as the water is rising and it's wet and you move out and stay someplace else because you're saying, it's covered by insurance anyway, that may not be the case. You've got responsibilities yourself to alleviate the situation.
Absolutely. Say you have a home filled with water, and then you, like you said, you leave, and then mold blossoms throughout the place. Then you've got a much worse problem, and the insurance carrier may not cover that if you didn't follow the proper steps.
Okay, if we stop right now, you've given one of the most valuable pieces of information that I've ever heard, because I can imagine somebody just neglecting that, thinking that it's all covered. So then the procedure would be, I guess, the insurance company sends out an adjuster.
Right, and at that point, you most likely want to, depending on the loss, but if you want to either get a public adjuster involved or an attorney. The public adjuster will come out. He or she will be representing you. The insurance company sends an adjuster, but they're hired by, and they represent the insurance company. What they do is they prepare an estimate of the loss of repair, for the repair of the loss. The only problem is if you don't have somebody on your side preparing an estimate, you don't know whether that estimate, what that means, or if it's truly the amount that it's going to take to repair the property.
Right. You know, Chuck, I think you just went into some foreign territory for a lot of people, because I think people think that the way it should happen is the adjuster comes out from the insurance company, and all they care about is their idea of good service is how fast they get a check. So the adjuster comes out, sends them a check, and I think what you're saying is that may not be the way it's supposed to go, and that the amount that they've decided that you're supposed to get may not be the right amount. Is that where you come from?
That's correct, because oftentimes the estimate that's written by the adjuster that came out on behalf of the insurance company isn't complete, or there's damage that isn't recognized that somebody that does a public adjuster may recognize. For example, say that you have some water damage to a kitchen cabinet. The insurance company may want to just replace or reface a door on a cabinet, when actually the entire kitchen, the entire set of cabinets needs to be replaced. Or, for example, they'll replace your bottom cabinets, but they don't want to replace your upper cabinets. Well, the problem is now you're not being made whole because you're not having a matching set of cabinets. And so they really need to do the cabinets, the upper cabinets, and the countertops. So,
right, so as a typical homeowner though, when the insurance company and the adjuster comes out and they tell you that and say, no, we're going to fix what's damaged, that's the way it is, I think the average person would say, I hate that that's the way it is, but thanks for the check, and now they're stuck with cabinets that don't match. So at what point is it, initially they should speak to somebody about their rights to the claim?
You can always call our office, and I'll be happy to speak with you and evaluate your claim and discuss your claim with you. If I think that there may be some issues with the claim, I'll be glad to represent you. If I think that it's something that we want to take a wait-and-see approach, let's see what the insurance companies pays. Maybe this is something simple that they'll just pay the full amount. Then if they don't, then give me a call back if you're not happy.
At the least, you're going to go out and have the damages estimated and see if that matches up with what the insurance company says. At the least. At
the least, we'll get an adjuster to come in and write an estimate, and then we'll compare it to what the insurance company has written to see whether or not there's some money on the table that's been left behind.
Right, and I would expect that if there's a big spread there, that's where you really need representation to make this thing right and to get what you need to bring your home back into the condition it was before the damage.
Absolutely.
And what if the insurance company, I guess in some cases, even denies claims, right? So that's also another reason you'd need somebody.
Oftentimes claims are denied, and most people think, well, my claim was denied, there's nothing I can do. I can tell you that oftentimes an insurance company will deny a claim, and then after litigation has started, they will come back and they'll negotiate the claim with you. You may not get 100 cents on the dollar, but you'll get a recovery.
Yeah, you're writing your check every month, and they make money by not paying claims, I would expect. I mean, I don't want to put a negative view on the whole thing, but really it's a business. They can get away without doing it. They're going to get away without it, and that's where you would come in. So, come in and tell everybody how they can reach you when they run into an insurance claim issue.
If you have a question regarding your insurance claim or you need some assistance, call me at 561-231-0640.
Chuck, thanks so much for coming in, and I think anyone that's got an insurance claim that they're dealing with would make great sense to be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thanks.